All right. Hey, Tanya. It's nice that we're finally together. I know we've talked about collaborating on a potential podcast and kind of see where our ideas meet. You're in the, I guess, business finance market space, and I'm coming from the healthcare administration perspective with a focus in dentistry. So it's nice to, get both of us together.
Yeah, it's
Um,
been a long time.
Yeah. And so we had a lovely lunch, I guess last week or just recently, and we kind of talked on some ideas that potentially we could bring. And yeah, it'd be nice to just have a little back and forth. But before we go into all that, it'd be nice to learn a little bit about you and who you are, and a little bit about your background.
Sure. So I thanks Drew first for your time and for this conversation today. It's been fun to catch up. Really cool to see actually all the things that you've done since college. Um, and
Thanks.
so a little bit just about kind of where I've been since college. At
Yeah.
the time, I was in the science background, so I had a science background. Took a little bit of a hiatus and started my own family. When I came back to career to work, I completely switched course and went the financial planning route. Ended up going to school to get my consumer and community studies degree with the emphasis in financial planning, certified financial planning. Um, from there, I joined a registered advisory firm, a small firm out in Midvale, where my focus really was financial planning. Um, my duration there ended up getting my certified financial planning designation, and recently just stepped away this past November and am here now with you.
Sweet, sweet. That's
Yeah.
cool. Now it's kind of fun that you brought up our undergrad. I don't know if you remember, but we had was it Gen Chem 2 together?
Yeah.
I,
We had a
I don't
couple,
know.
I think.
Yeah. So that seems so long ago, but
Yeah.
that's pretty cool. That's pretty cool. It's been fun also. So when you were at that financial firm, your boss, his daughter and my daughter are best friends. And so while you were working there, it was kind of fun to hear, about the great things that you were doing, and kind of, I don't know, not keep tabs, but that's when I would catch us, little updates from here from time to time. So that was pretty neat.
Yeah. It'd been so long since you and I had touched base, actually. I
Yeah.
think Josh was the only reason we got back in. Well, I started hearing your name again. So
Hmm.
yeah,
Yeah.
good to be reconnected.
And so I'm starting this, new business venture, management consulting for dentists. And I was kind of thinking, how would I get my message out to dentists? What would be a medium that I could communicate with them and share different ideas. And as I was thinking about that, I was thinking about the dental, industry, the marketplace, and I heard that you were transitioning away from, the financial firm, and I thought, I thought it'd be nice to kind of team up with you. I'd heard how you were able to work with your clients, how well you were able to communicate with them and convey, different products and different packages. I guess there's certain restrictions that you're not beholden to that others are, and so that allowed you more freelance to communicate with them. Is that right?
Yeah, so because I was on the planning side, the way that at least where I was at, the firm that I was at, the way that the model was structured, I the part of the business that I was in was exempt from a lot of the compliance and regulatory rules. Per my designation, there were still the fiduciary and ethical standards that I had to uphold. But from the regulatory standpoint, that most financial advisors and firms are have to adhere to, I was able to kind of bypass that because of how we structured our model, which now that I think of it, allowed me a lot of flexibility to just grow and really dive in deep with clients. Um, and so, yeah, I think that was definitely a hidden advantage that I don't think I realized at the time.
Yeah, sweet.
Yeah.
Well, I just heard that you were doing a great job. They were really happy with you, and you brought great, I don't know, culture you added to the culture within the office. So I was just really impressed with that. So it's nice
Thanks, Drew.
to be with you. I guess we're doing a little get to know you. Some a question that came to my mind was, if who was Tanya when Tanya was in high school as a sophomore or a junior in high school? Who was that Tanya?
Oh, it's such a great question. That Tanya was a big nerd. Um, I I was really nose in books type of girl, very introverted. Honestly, the Tanya that I was in high school, I think I'm still her, just have worked on a lot of the different things that I wasn't so great at. I'm not a natural extrovert. I can do it, but it takes a lot of energy for me. I have to like make sure I refill my cup. Um, let's see, I was really involved in volunteering. I was very engaged in whatever subjects, initiatives I felt were passion I was passionate about. I got involved. Um, so that, yeah, Tanya was a big nerd in high school. True.
Well, I can kind of see that. I can.
I'm curious, what were you? What was Drew in high school?
Who was I? I was very different than the Drew that you see today. Very different, very different. I was very shy.
Hmm.
I was very smart, but because I was very smart, I was very lazy.
Hmm.
And so I just got away with being able to absorb information right away. And that's something that I can still do right now. I can still recall, I don't know, I wouldn't say I have a photographic memory, but I do have a very good memory.
That's
I would
awesome.
say that's one of my strengths. But back then, I would observe a lot. I would I too was a very, I was a nerd in that I wouldn't study because I would just pay attention in class. But I
Get
really
it.
loved I would walk home from school. So I would use this as an example. I'd walk home from school, and I think it's about a mile or two a walk. It would take me about 30 minutes to get home. And while I'm walking, I would actually pay attention to cloud patterns. I wouldn't know the names of clouds. Right now, I can only tell you there's cumulus. um, but I would pay attention to the way that the wind would blow and the way that the light would penetrate through the cloud if it was, I don't know. And then I would also pay attention to the migration of birds because it was near Sugar House Park, which is a really large park near my high school. Um, yeah, I guess I was lost in my own world. Um, and school wasn't very important to me. I got caught up in some extracurricular things that I'm not very proud of. But it is who I am.
Hmm.
And I think we kind of talked about this before. Uh,
Yeah.
Kind of, I've been thinking about recently about a paradigm shift, this idea of a paradigm shift. In the way that you view the world and what are some events that kind of change the way that you view the world. Now, the world is still the same, but the way that you see it has changed. After high school, I went to Tonga for quite a while. Um, and it was there that I kind of was able to reroute myself in who I am and what it means, what I defined it, what it meant to be a Tongan, to be a Polynesian, and I was able to see more clearly the opportunities that were given to me and the sacrifices that my parents made to come to America and start this new life. I'm interested, did you have a similar experience? I know you've mentioned to me, at that lunch visit when you visited Tonga. Can you think of other uh, t- paradigm shifts or times that you're able to see from a different perspective?
Totally. I love what you said. Just kind of rerouted yourself because I don't think we're completely changed into a completely different person. I'd like to think that I still carry some of like what makes me me. But I'd say motherhood, having my own family for sure was a huge, um, and actually maybe take a step back, realizing first that I wanted a family. Tanya in high school didn't wasn't really maternal, didn't really see herself as a mother. Honestly, had really good had not good had really big career goals that didn't include family life. Um, and so me realizing at some point that I wanted children, that a family, and leaving one of the best things I could do to leave the legacy behind would be to have children and be able to teach them and raise them and take care of them on my own. That was a huge paradigm shift for me. So,
Awesome. Awesome.
yeah.
You know, I guess how I initially came into dentistry, there was this dentist who had his office in Sugar House here in Salt Lake, and he, when he was younger, went on a church mission to Tonga, and when he was so impressed by the love and the care that the Tongan people gave to him, he came back to the States, came back to America, and he completed his dental school. And whenever he saw a Tongan, he would offer dental services for free. And I was one of his patients, because I too was gonna go, preparing to go on my mission. And my parents knew about him. His name was Buck Miller. He's since passed away. And I remember going to see this Balangi, this white guy, the white dentist, give me free dental care, and it was awesome. But the question that came to my mind was thinking, it's great that he's doing this for Tongans, but when can Tongans do this for other Tongans? And so that's what initially sparked my interest in dentistry. And then I went on my mission to St. Louis, and I spent most of my time in the ghetto, in the poorer areas of the city, up until the very end of my mission, when the most affluent family. I guess I had always grown up with the belief that if you have money, if you're rich, you must be evil. There must not be some ethical way that you were able to gain that money. I thought that God's people were always the poor people, and that we should be humble. But when I met this family, they're the Bankheads in South St. Louis. They were the most Christ-like people, and humble, serving people that I had ever met in my up up until then in my life. And it just blew me away because they also had nice vehicles, um, and huge homes. He had a son and a daughter. Both of them are in orthodontics. They're in dentistry. And I thought, wow, this family, they're able to have this great life. What I thought was a great life. Their family, their children seemed happy. They had food. They would feed us all the time, which I wasn't used to. And it, it was great because on Sundays he would always be, those crews that are on the side of the freeway cleaning up. He was one of them, and it just didn't seem to match up in my mind. So that was a huge paradigm shift in my life as well. But thanks for sharing that, Tanya. It's
Yeah, I could see the shock in your face, Drew, when I said not maternal.
I know. I was thinking, wait, it seems like you're a natural mother. So I don't know. So I was yeah, definitely blindsided by that. Oh, good for you. And
That's neat. So it sounds like, honestly, the dentistry is kind of like you have little nuggets along the way of it's just always kind of touched your life.
yeah, little islands in the ocean.
Yeah, it's
Right.
pretty
And
cool.
and so yeah, I've always appreciated dentistry. So when I went on my mission, and maybe you remember when we first met, I had the most crooked grill ever. It was janky,
I
and
don't remember.
because I had braces for the longest time.
I just remember your braces
Yeah, yeah. So that's the part that I was
and your
referring.
bowl cap. Yeah.
Always, always. Maybe that's what's attributing to the to the hairline. But I remember when I would take pictures, I always faced with the camera to my left because
Hmm,
it would be like that would be the side where you couldn't see the shadows or the crooked teeth as much, right?
hmm.
And so what dentist, what when I got my braces and took it off, it did wonders for my confidence.
Oh,
When I would take a picture, I knew that my teeth wouldn't have those weird shadows in there. Um, so yeah, you're right. Throughout my life, there's just been periods where dentistry has just had a impact on me, and so I'm hoping to give back. I've been working in healthcare. I've been working in within systems. Um, and the benefit from that, I've been able to see from a more global view what healthcare looks like, what access to care looks like, what population health looks like, what are the barriers to care, what are things that are preventing um, patients from accessing or full participation within the healthcare system. And so I'm hoping to take that perspective with me to individual clinics, so they're a lot smaller. And so what are things that we can do to impact the access to care and also help dentists become better business owners?
hmm.
And that's something that I've seen working with dentists or with doctors, with practicing physicians, is that they're great physicians. They provide great medical care, um, in giving treatment for their patients, um, but they're not the best business people. They're not business oriented. And so what I was thinking, what are things that I can do to bring that experience, that expertise in management to dentists so that we can improve, their outcomes, improve their margins, their bottom line, and their take home, so that they can optimize the time that they spend within their practice, so that they can increase uh, the quality of life that they experience with their families at home. So that's a little
That's
bit
awesome.
about me and my background, my interests, and what I want to do within the field. Um, it's nice to meet with you, Tanya. I
Likewise, Drew.
I don't know if I dominated the
No, I
conversation,
thought,
but
no, this is great. I appreciated it. It's nice to hear kind of just your story. It all kind of makes honestly a lot more sense the more I talk to you. So
thanks.
just kind of your why, your vision, your focus, and kind of what you're hoping to do with this. So I appreciate it.
Sweet, thanks. Well, I hope that we can continue the conversation as we move forward. This is a great intro, and we'll see what lays ahead of us.
Sounds good. Thanks, Drew.
Yep.